What's up, everybody? So if you happen to be an avid watcher of my channel, or a casual watcher of my channel, or this is the first video you've ever watched my channel, or rather, I mean, if you've seen my other videos, rather, you probably see me smoking cigarettes in those videos, right? Well, I decided that I was gonna quit. Now, I'd already decided I was gonna quit, but I was postponing it. Really, what my plan was to quit next year. Once I go home, once I come off the road, you know, and start being local and all that. God, I need a haircut. I'm probably gonna shave my head tonight. But anyways, once I come off the road, you know, I was going to quit smoking for good. You know, and someone might think, well, why don't you just quit today? Why wait? Well, the reason why is because, you know, when, you know, I live out here on the road in a truck, you know. Sorry. That's a damn police officer driving around the parking lot. Anyways, you know, like, I'm out here on the road pretty much all the time, you know, and I hardly ever go home. And to just put it very simply, I don't have any other vices, you know, working out here. You know, I you know, I don't drink. Can't ever drink when I'm out here, you know. And, you know, it's not like I'm getting laid. So, you don't get to enjoy any of that stuff. You know, so it's the only vice that you can have, driving a truck all the time. You know, staying out a couple months at a time, was just smoking cigarettes. You know, and really, realistically looking at it, I was thinking, you know, if I try to quit while I'm on the road, it's gonna be so much harder than it needs to be. You know, dealing with it, I just figured it'd be a lot easier to do it when I come off the road, right? What I mean, and just for a little bit of background, I'm 27 now, and I've been smoking since I think I started smoking when I was 18, which is actually kind of late. Most people that smoke started smoking when they were like 13 or 15 or something like that. No, I didn't actually start smoking. I mean, I had smoked before then, here and there, and I had friends that smoked, but I didn't start smoking every day as a habit until I was 18. You know, and when I first started out, it was just a couple cigarettes at a time. You know, I don't know. You know, what it was is, like, I turned 18 and I actually smoked like cigars, like Black and Milds and stuff, for a while, just here and there. You know, just as a thing. You know, when I was hanging out and stuff like that, you know, I'd puff on a Black and Mild. And after a while, I was thinking, you know, why don't I try cigarettes instead of these Black and Milds, you know what I mean? So I, you know, started smoking Camel filters. You know, and look, I know it wasn't a smart decision. You don't need to tell me that. I fucking get it. Stupid, right? But, you know, I was 18 years old. You know, so you ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer when, you know, you haven't even hit 20 yet. But, you know, but I started out smoking Camel filters, and I'd only smoke 2 or 3 a day for a while. You know, and I was fixing ATM machines at the time, so I was in a car driving around all day, and you know, I was on the night shift for a while, and I was just in the car all the time, you know, just driving all over town, working on ATM machines, and so, you know, I'd smoke some cigarettes here and there, but, you know, well, how does it go? A little, it used to be a little, but a little got more and more, or whatever. See, you know, that's what happens. You know, I think that's what happens with really any addiction, but, you know, that's what happens with cigarettes, typically. You know, your average smoker doesn't just smoke a couple a day. Some people do. You know, and I know people that only smoke socially. I've known people that only smoke when they've been drinking. You know, I've had friends like that, you know, and they'll bum a cigarette or two off me after they're like 6 beers in or something like that. But anyway, you know, and then I just was a smoker, you know, for years. And you know, and I had planned to quit because, you know, I just didn't want to be smoking in my 30s. And I figured, you know, I might as well quit before I hit 30. You know, I got a few years before that comes, but I just wanted to make sure I quit before I hit 30, just because, you know, like when back in my early 20s and my late teens, I wasn't thinking about my health in the future. I wasn't thinking about my credit in the future or my retirement in the future. I didn't give a shit about any of that. What I do now, you know, now I really give a shit about my credit, and I really give a shit about my retirement and my retirement account. And now I give more of a shit about my health, you know, and looking forward. So, you know, now I'm taking all that into account. You know, my new vaporizer, by the way. It's cold. But anyways, you know, I'll get to the vaporizers in a minute. Let me finish with my boring ass story first. Well, you know, I plan to quit next year when I plan next year to come off the road. I don't know at what part of the year I'm going to come off the road. It depends on money. But next year, I'm most likely to be coming off the road. Maybe summer, fall, maybe. We'll see. But anyways, I've never really had issues with smoking. I've never had, you know, bronchitis. You know, I mean, I may have gotten a sore throat once or twice, you know, but I've never really had issues. I've never coughed up blood. There have been days where I was drinking the night before and I smoked, you know, too many cigarettes because I was drinking all night. And, you know, I woke up the next day and, you know, you kind of feel it in your lungs, a little bit in your throat. You kind of feel like, man, I smoked too many cigarettes last night, right? But I never really had any issues, you know. I've never had to go to a doctor or something like that. Or I've had doctors, anytime I've ever seen a doctor, like getting a DOT physical, they always tell me, well, you should quit. But yeah, I know. But, you know, I've never, like, had a doctor tell me, like, you need to quit or else this, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, you need to quit right now. I've never heard that. Well, let's see, I think it was a week ago, maybe 1 week ago, week and a half or something. I think it was about a week and a half or something like that. You know, might have just been a week. But anyways, I was driving through Chicago, as I am wont to do, you know, as I do all the fucking time. And, you know, it's at night. I think it's about 8 o'clock at night or something like that. You know, and I'm just cruising through Chicago on my way to the terminal so I could park it and, you know, be done for the night. You know, I'm listening to talk radio and, you know, I wasn't smoking at the time. I think it'd been about maybe 30 minutes to an hour before or since I'd smoked my last cigarette. You know, and I was at about a pack and a half a day. Like, for years and years, I smoked a pack a day. For, like, probably 6 years or something like that. You know, and it's only maybe in the last year that I've been smoking about a pack and a half a day. It's gone up, you know. But anyways, I was driving through Chicago. I'm listening to the radio. You know, just, you know, just doing my thing, driving. And I'll, you know, slowly but surely, like, it wasn't like an all of a sudden kind of thing, but I just kind of started to... You know, I started to feel like I wasn't getting enough air, you know, and like I could breathe fine, and I wasn't. I talked to my mom. My mom was like, "Were you having a panic attack?" And I was like, "No, I wasn't freaking out or anything. I was fine. You know, my heart rate was fine, my head was fine, my chest. I didn't feel any pain or anything. It just felt like, you know, I wasn't getting enough air. You know, it was weird. So." You know, I started taking deeper breaths, you know, because I was breathing normally. So I started taking deeper breaths, you know, and it still felt kind of like I wasn't getting enough air, you know, and I was like, this is weird. Never had this phenomenon happen before. Never felt this fucking sensation, you know. So, you know, I'm breathing, and it's like, you know, I don't feel like I'm suffocating. You know, it's not like my vision's blurring or anything. I just felt like I wasn't getting enough oxygen, you know. It's hard to explain. You know, it's almost like I was breathing through a wet towel or something. It was really fucking weird. You know, and like, you know, as I'm sitting there driving, you know, I'm thinking to myself, fuck that, you know, fuck cigarettes. You know what? I was gonna quit next year. I'm gonna quit now. I'm fucking done. You know? Fucking done. You know, because that shit, you know, and it went away not too long after, you know, and I felt fine and all that. I felt fine the whole time. It was just that, you know, I didn't have any trouble breathing, you know, it wasn't like, I didn't have any chest pains or anything like that. That's all it was, you know, and it was probably nothing. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was enough to make me feel like it's time to quit. You know, because something like that, just in my opinion, it's like, I kind of, you know, there's a lot of similarities between, like, human health and, like, cars, in my opinion. That's the kind of the way I see it. I know it's oversimplifying, but, you know, there's a lot of similarities there. And, you know, from what I know about working on cars, when there's an issue with a car, it doesn't get better. It only gets worse. You know, there is no problem there may be a few, but most problems with a car, they don't fucking get better. They only get worse with time, you know? So you gotta it's better to fix a problem before it gets worse, right? Well, I felt the same way about this. I thought, you know what, something like this, it's only gonna get worse with time, you know? And I don't know what the fuck it is. I just don't want to be, you know, that to become a common occurrence to where it's like I feel like, you know, I'm breathing through a fucking straw or something like that. So I decided to quit, right? Now, I didn't quit fully. You know, right now, in this like last week or so, I'm down. I mean, at the time, this is what I did, as I had 4 packs of cigarettes in my truck. Like, when I stopped at the terminal, I threw them all away. I just did away with all of them. Threw them in the trash, threw that away. You know, and when I went to the terminal, here's, you know, a little story for you. I decided, you know what? If I'm going to quit cold turkey, it'd probably be easiest to start vaping. So I'll just do that. That's what everybody else is doing. And I've worked with guys personally that told me that they started vaping and they were able to quit flat out and hadn't smoked in years because of these fucking things, right? This is a new one. I haven't worked out all the kinks in it yet. Kind of getting it to where I want it. That's pretty good. I think that'll work. But anyways, let me roll out a little bit. So when I got to the terminal, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna run by a vape shop in you know, the Gary area, somewhere near the terminal, and pick up a vaporizer, right? And you know, we have at our terminals, most of our terminals anyway, we have courtesy cars that the drivers can borrow, and we could run errands, and you know, there's like an hour time limit on them, right? So I ran into the terminal to borrow a car to run to a vape shop nearby, and you know, I went to the counter. I was like, hey, do you guys got any cars available? You know, and there was a guy who came in right behind me, another driver, and he said, hey, where are you going? Are you going to Walmart or something? I said, no, I'm just going to a vape shop. And he says, oh, I am too. Can I ride with you? I was like, yeah, sure. We can ride down there together. You know, so, you know, a really cool guy. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but, you know, super cool guy. But anyways, you know, I was going to go to some vape shop, and he's like, no, let's go to this other one that's, you know, over here, a couple miles away. And they're way better. I've been there before. So we went there, and it was cool. We were talking about smoking and vaping, and, you know, the guy said he came from smoking 4 or 5 packs a day to, went to vaping and hasn't smoked since. You know, and so it was cool because, you know, he answered a lot of the questions I had about vaping and stuff like that. You know, it told me, like, you should get one like this, you know, don't do that, do this, blah, blah, blah. So it was really helpful. And then I went to the shop in Gary that was really cool. The owner was super, super helpful. And I was like, I don't know anything about this shit. I just, you know, I'm going to get one and get some juice and all that stuff. So, you know, he showed me all the ropes and all that stuff, you know. And, you know, so I got my first one, which is this little guy, right? It's kind of like a, sorry, I think, there we go. I gotta fix that. I'm sorry, you guys. I know it's driving you fucking crazy. I didn't have to deal with this shit on my last phone. But anyways, I got this little guy, you know, which is just like kind of a beginner's one. And I got it, and, you know, it was working out. And like, until like, I think it was like the next day, I think maybe either later that night or the next day in the morning, I was thinking, you know, if this is going to flat out replace cigarettes for me, you know, a pack and a half a day, I'm gonna need another one. I'm gonna need a backup, you know, and I wanted something a little bit bigger and better. So that very next day, I had some time before I delivered my load. So I dropped my trailer at the truck stop, and I bobtailed down to, I was down in Kentucky, bobtailed down to another vape shop that was there in the morning, and I bought this one. This one, you know, now this one's got 2 batteries, and it's got the screen on it, and, you know, this is actually, I actually swapped the tanks on these two because, you know, I bought this tank, and I put it on this one, and then when I bought this other fucking green mod, its original tank wouldn't work for some fucking reason. So I put its tank on this single battery, and I swapped their tanks basically, right? And I have different juices in all 3 of them. For instance, like this one is orange citrus, and it has 9 milligrams of nicotine. It's higher. So I'll hit this one at night and in the mornings, to give me that, you know, nicotine, you know, jolt that I'm used to and shit. And these other 2 are 6 milligrams of nicotine, right? But, you know, so I bought that second one, and then after about 2 days, I woke up in the morning, and I was, you know, I reached to where my cigarette pack used to be, and I was thinking, you know, my first 2 days, my thought was, you know, this is not near as hard as everyone makes it fucking seem when they quit smoking. Everybody acts like it's a living fucking hell. And I'm like, it's not that bad. You know, it is weird going from smoking for fucking like 9 years to not smoking at all. It was weird, you know. But it wasn't that bad. But on the 3rd day, I was like, okay, now I'm really starting to feel the edge of not smoking anymore. So what I did was I went and I got 1 pack of cigarettes, and I limited myself to 2 a day so far. So what I do is when I wake up in the morning, I'll smoke 1 cigarette, and then I smoke another one after I eat lunch, and those are the 2 cigarettes I get a day. And that's what I've been doing so far. But what I'd like to do is after I finish this pack, getting my 2 allotted cigarettes a day, I'm not going to buy another pack, and then I'm just going to vape and see how that goes. You know what I mean? And just smoking the 2 cigarettes a day, you know, it's been working, you know, and it's made things easier. And I'm hoping after this last pack, I can just be done with cigarettes for good. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to try to do. But, you know, I've noticed I can breathe easier. You know, my sense of smell has already started coming back. Like, I can smell things better, especially if someone's smoking a cigarette. I can smell someone smoking a cigarette from like a quarter mile away now. Like, I told my buddy on the phone, like, dude, because I keep the outside air on when I'm driving, if someone in a car in front of me is smoking a cigarette, I can fucking smell the secondhand driving down the highway. And my friend was like, that bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I'm like, dude, I'm here to fucking tell you. I could smell it ever so faint. You know, if someone's like on the other side of the parking lot over there burning one down, if I'm downwind, I'll catch that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I've become hypersensitive to it. But I've also I've gotten my sense of smell back. And that's one thing that's always bothered me about smoking, is that I straight up, I just can't smell as good. Like, I'll think of when I was a kid, and, you know, how well I could smell when I was a kid, and, you know, just all the different smells. Like, when you go outside, you know, at different temperatures and different seasons and the different smells, and the smells were just so powerful, you know. And that's one thing that always bugged me about smoking. It's like, you don't get that anymore. You really only smell stronger smells. You don't pick up on, like, the weaker smells, you know. But my sense of smell has already started to come back. I feel like my sense of taste has come back a bit, you know, just a little bit, you know. And my sense of smell has come back somewhat. It's not like night and day, but I've noticed a difference, you know, and it feels like I don't get winded as easily when I'm like tarping loads and rolling tarps and shit like that, and you know, working on securing and tarping loads. I feel like I'm not getting winded as quickly as I was before. What is this cop doing? Is he looking for something? Trolling for lot lizards or something? But anyways, you know, that's what I'm gonna try to do. Just quit smoking after that, you know. So, you know, I'm not buying a carton a week anymore. So, you know, that first vape, that little stick single battery, that was $40 plus the juice. And then that one down there, that 2 battery one that I bought, was actually $135. Which is weird because I don't think it's going to be as... This one was only $80. But it was just the battery pack and not the tank. Because I already had a tank. That's a $40 tank, by the way. But it's an extra big tank with a really big coil and all that shit. Anyways, just vape bullshit. I am by no means like a fucking vape pro, and I don't see myself making a fucking hobby out of it. I just want to have some that work and do their job, and that's fucking it. I need some shit to get my nicotine fix. That's why I got 3 of them. You know, I got these 2 big ones that I'm going to use during the day, and really that small one is just going to be a backup. This single battery is just going to be a backup just in case. Or, you know, it's got the higher nicotine in it, so... Or, I don't know, one of them does. But 2 of them I'll use during the day, and then I'll use one while the other's charging. And, you know, and try to just do that from now on. And then, you know, over time, I'll work the nicotine levels down in the juice. And then, you know, I like to get to the point where, you know, I'll you know, work these down to where there's no nicotine and it's just the juice. And then after that, I'll probably quit vaping at some point. You know, it's not even necessarily all that good for you. It's way better than smoking cigarettes, vaping is. Like tenfold. It's extremely better for you. But it's still not healthy. You know, there are a lot of the shit that people say are unhealthy about vaping, a lot of it's bullshit. You know, if you really read the facts on the internet, you know, a lot of it's just, you know, news organizations, you know, trying to convince old people that vaping is still bad. You know, those news outlets that every good thing that comes out, they gotta put a fucking bad spin on it. Like, oh, too good to be true, I knew it. You know, I guess to satisfy skeptical old people or some shit like that. You know, it's like this the same thing about marijuana. Like, you know, oh, fucking, you know, here, could marijuana be causing cancer? Tonight at 9. The answer's fucking no. But it's like, oh, this one study linked this guy who smoked weed all the time, and he got cancer, and with this study that they fucking did. But it's always like one fucking study. And there's always a litany of other studies that, you know, say the opposite. But anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. You know, this still isn't necessarily healthy for you. There are certain health risks involved with vaping and shit like that. But, you know, it's way, way better than cigarettes. I can already fucking tell. You know, and it's cheaper. Even though I've spent all this money on these vapes and shit, it's still buying a fucking carton a week. You know, that's like $70 a week. So what? 70 times 2 is 140. Times 2 is 280. So like $280 or so a month I'm not going to be spending anymore. You know, and this is, I bought this third mod tonight at this vape shop over here, and I'm not planning on buying any more. This is the setup that I'm gonna keep. I'd like to keep. I don't want to buy any more. The only reason I bought this one is because that one the double battery one, this fucking guy right here, is I hit it all fucking day and I end up running the batteries out of it. You know, so that's why I got this one with 3 batteries in it, so that I could just, because I pretty much hit the motherfuckers all day. Because they're my cigarette replacements. And I was at the point where I was smoking a cigarette every 30 minutes to an hour. You know what I mean? Stupid autofocus. So, these, you know, that's what I'm doing now. You know? So, you know, I didn't want to tell a whole bunch of people. You know, I don't care about telling you guys and shit. But, you know, I didn't want to tell friends and family You know, I didn't want to advertise it because the way I say is, if you're gonna quit something, smoking, drinking, smoking weed, or whatever the fuck it is, whatever bad habit that you got that you want to quit, you know, I think it's best policy to try to wait maybe like a month after you quit and then tell people, or just let people notice on their own. Because if you say, hey, I've quit drinking, you know, and it's like you just got drunk last night, like, people are gonna think you're gonna be embarrassed. You're gonna look like a fucking asshole if 5 days later you're at the bar drinking again. But if you can go a month without smoking or a month without drinking, you know, and people just start to notice, like, hey man, you're not drinking? No, I'm not gonna go to the bar. I'm just not drinking. Did you quit? Yeah, I quit. You know what I mean? That's the way to do it, in my opinion. You know. So, but you know, I told my friends, my mom, and stuff like that. But I didn't tell them I quit. I said I'm in the process of quitting. You know, because you still got my 2 cigarettes a day. You know, but that's not gonna be for much longer. You know, I'm weaning myself. You know, I find it a lot easier than just going cold turkey. You know. But I tell you what, these things have fucking definitely helped. Definitely. You know, and I was always skeptical about vaporizers because I'd gotten like a cheap little starter vape pen kit before, and I fucking hated it, and it sucked, and it was a piece of shit, and I didn't like it, you know. And so I was always skeptical about it. But really what you got to do is not get the $20 basic starter kit with the tiny little tank, and it basically almost looks like a damn pen. You gotta spend a little bit of money and get like the $40 one, like this fucking starter right here. You know, you gotta start out with something like this. This is a good starter one. But you know, really, look, if you're gonna fucking just straight up quit smoking, you might as well spend the money and get you something real like this. You know, something with 2 or 3 batteries with a big fucking tank and a big ass coil on it. You know, spend the money on it. You know, you're gonna save money in the long run on smoking cigarettes anyway. You know, and regardless, I mean, it's just, you know. But I know one thing is, like, I was talking to one of my buddies who does smoke, and I was talking to him about vaping. You know, and I just know one thing. I don't want to be the fucking guy that quits smoking, that preaches to everybody else that smokes that they should quit. Because when I was a smoker, you know, when I was smoking all the fucking time, I fucking hated that. I fucking hate that, straight up. You know, I just, being around people that used to smoke years ago, like older people are the worst at it. You know, but if they smoked years ago, but they quit, they always fucking rag on you for smoking. You know, it's like, fuck you, dude. You know, like, oh, you quit? Good for you. Congratulations. You know what? Newsflash, I ain't fucking you, am I? I'm fucking me. I'm myself. I'm fucking myself. You know, but I just hate that preachy bullshit. You know. All I told my friend is, I didn't tell him he should quit. I said, if you wanted to quit, these vapes are the shit, you know. And you know, if you decide you want to start vaping and you want to quit smoking, just let me know. We can go to a vape shop when I come back into town, and I'll show you what I've learned so far, and you know, give you recommendations and shit. You know, so he's thinking about it. Problem is, his girlfriend smokes too, so if you know, he's not gonna be able to quit unless she quits, you know. And I understand that, because my ex used to smoke too, and you know, there's no way, if you're dating somebody, married to somebody that smokes, they're gonna have to quit with you. There's no way, because there's always gonna be cigarettes and lighters around, always gonna be someone smoking around. And you know, I've been around, in the last couple of days, I've been around people smoking, and I didn't get the urge to light up, and I didn't get the urge to bum one off of them. But if you're dating somebody and you know, you're always around that, you know, you're not gonna want to. But anyways, that's the story, man. I'm sure a lot of you guys that watch my channel on the regular are going to be happy about that. You know, it drives people up the fucking wall every time I smoke cigarettes and videos, you know. But it's like, what's the difference with me sitting here with a cigarette in my left hand and hitting it, and me sitting here and doing this? What's the difference? It looks about the same, doesn't it? You know, just pretend this is a giant green fucking cigarette with a screen on the side of it. You know, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. I guess it bugs the shit out of some people, you know, but this will make them happy, you know. But yeah, man, I did the vaping thing. Some of you guys even put in the comments like, man, no, you should start vaping. That's what I did. You know, this is what a lot of truckers are going to. You know, a lot of truckers are doing the vape thing. 70% of truckers are smokers. Smokers are ex-smokers. That's what they say anyway, you know. But yeah, I mean, vaping's the way to go. So, you know, and once I kick the 2 cigarette a day habit and I'm completely done with them, I'm sure I'll let you guys know in passing in another video. But that's it for now. I'm gonna drop the subject. I will talk to you guys later. Ah, shit.